Hey, Tampa Bay, welcome to the Business Happy Hour, your number one show for all things business and entrepreneurial. In studio with my amazing co-host, Jason J. McIntosh, the man when it comes to real estate, the man, the myth, the legend, the pinnacle award-winning Jason McIntosh, the number one team in the state of Florida. That's right, Jay, I know the actual stats. You are the number one team in the state of Florida.
It's good to be back.
It is
Welcome
great
back.
to be back.
Welcome back, Frank.
What? Thank you very much. You know, I was on vacation last week.
You were.
That's right. You were kind of out doing some fun stuff too, I know, right?
You were. You did the old influencer thing.
I did. I
didn't think you were going to come back.
My daughter did not want me to come back.
That's true.
When you let an 11-year-old choose your spring break destination, and she chooses Los Angeles, and then she tells you, Dad, I'm going to move here, and you say, no, you're not.
Yeah.
That goes over real well.
So the celebrity tour. We met a couple celebrities.
We did. By the way, I am the host of the Business Happy Hour, Frank Cotto, the owner of Lincoln Lending Group and 813mortgage.com, otherwise known as Frank the Bank on social media. You're right, Jay.
That's right. Today, he will be known as Frank the Tank Cotto. And we'll tell you about that in a few seconds why.
Oh, he's going to get
in honor of our special guest, Frank the Tank Cotto.
Oh, my God.
But go ahead, let's pick up on influencer.
So influencer. So, all right. So here's a real interesting story. So I took my wife, we're the beaches over at Long Beach, and we wanted to go to Catalina Island. So we took the helicopter tour over to Catalina. And, I'm flying over there, and you ever been in like a room and you see somebody and you're like, that guy, he's somebody.
Yeah.
Like he looks familiar, right?
Yeah.
So
every time I look in the mirror. No.
So,
I'm kidding.
Every time I meet you.
Right.
So I'm looking at my pilot of the helicopter and I'm like, yeah, this but he's a helicopter pilot, right? So we land and the ground crew guy goes, hey, do you recognize your pilot? I go, no, who was that? He goes, that was Lorenzo Lamas. I'm like, what? Renegade was my pilot? Right. I thought he only drove motorcycles. Yeah. But anyway, so that was cool, right? So then we flew back with him. I got to talk to him about all the Renegade stuff. And then my daughter, speaking of influencers, so my 11-year-old daughter wants to go out to California. She wants to meet Piper Raquel.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have no idea who that is, but
and if you're over 13 and you have a problem. Matter of fact, we probably would be calling the police.
Yes.
But anyway, so Ryan probably knows.
Producer Ryan
knows everybody. So anyway, so she goes to this little concert in Orlando for this singer girl Piper Raquel, and they're like, yeah, come see us in LA. Well, little did they know we were actually going to LA the next day. So my daughter looks up her home address. And she gives it to me. And as I drive her to this girl's house, right? I knock on the door, on the gate. I'm ringing the gate. They're not coming. Actually, my wife was, and they weren't coming. They wanted to leave. I said, heck no. We came all the way out here. We're going to meet this girl. So I started ringing the bell. Mom comes to the door, and Mom's like, can I help you? I was like, yes, my 11-year-old loves your daughter. We were at your concert in Orlando. Now I'm in LA. I'm just curious if we can say hi. She goes, absolutely.
No way. You ambush crashed the influencer? That's amazing. That's the best story ever. You were quite the father here.
Yes, I am.
Wow.
So, by the way, my daughter did not want me to go up there because I was going to embarrass her. But then Daddy's the one who got her in the door. So Daddy and her got invited inside. Yeah. We met the mom. We met her. They hung out.
Wait a second. I didn't get to see the reel.
Oh, I got to show you the reel.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Man. Well, I didn't actually my daughter forbid me to put it on social media.
Oh, okay.
She's like, don't do that. I'm like, so that would be like if Jason and I, we're about the same age. That'd be like us going to like Michael Jordan's house. Yeah. Like who was your idol when you were 11? Like,
I'm wearing the Jordans right now.
You are wearing the Jordans. Right? And be like, hey, come on in, Jason. I'm Michael Jordan, So
let me show you my shoes.
Right. So my trip ends, everybody's like, hey, you go to LA, you see celebrities, right? I didn't think I was going to see anybody. Okay. Minus my helicopter pilot, right? It ends with lunch in Laguna Beach at this hotel, and I'm walking down the drag to leave, and who walks in front of me all but LL Cool J?
Yes, doing it
well. That's right.
Mama said knock you out.
Dude, so that was so.
And his daughter has no idea who LL Cool J is. No idea.
No, only my wife did, and of course my kids are like. My son goes, "Is that a football player?" I was like, "Okay." So anyway, I'm like, "Yo, LL." And he turns around, he goes, I'm LL.
That's
just
awesome.
like that. I'm like, big fan. He goes, big fans get pictures. Boom.
Man, what a good guy.
Amazing guy.
That's a heck of a picture too.
It was like if you're in your like late 30s, 40s, 50s.
You're fanboying for sure. I know I would have been for sure. Are you kidding me?
Dude, I was starstruck.
Yeah.
Like
he looks good, right? In person too, probably.
Good, better than you and I.
Yeah,
we're 20 years younger than he is. That dude's like 60.
He's doing it well for sure. He's doing something well.
He is plastic surgery.
Probably.
No, I actually don't think it is. I think the guy just legit.
good genes.
Amazing, Gene. So that's my whole story. That's my LA experience. It was absolutely awesome. But now I'm back here in
Can we get to our guest?
Tampa.
Let's get to our guest.
Jason, who are our guests today? Oh, here they come.
So
Big
it is
applause.
going to be a red, white, and blue explosion. Yes. Hit that button for me. So I will let you introduce, since you have it written down on your pad there, our lovely ladies in the house. So here, let me preface it by, as one veteran to a pair of other veterans, I am super stoked. I am super excited about the veterans in this room because we have some can I say the A word here? Can I?
Yeah, sure.
We have some kick-ass veterans here.
That's right.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. Yeah. Right here in the studio, female women's veterans from the Department of Veteran Affairs right here in the house.
I love it.
We have Robin Norris.
Yes.
And
And
we have
Tammy.
Tammy Tennis.
Tennis.
And we're so excited to have them here to talk about the VA Women Veteran Programs and all things red, white, and blue.
Wait a minute. I did not even know there was a women's veterans program.
We're going to know that and much more. It's going to be a positive Patriot Hour.
A red, white, and blue explosion.
That's what it's going to be.
It is absolutely going to be.
Yeah.
If you guys could, actually, you guys are going to be able to see this on
That's right.
the intranet.
The intrawebs.
The social media machine.
Being recorded as we speak.
Yes, it is.
Every word, every image, everything.
So we understand that Robin and Tammy, you are radio veterans. You've been doing this for 40 years on the radio. Is that right?
Yeah.
I would say wrong.
How about 4
Well, the
minutes?
shots that we did beforehand will say otherwise.
Right. That's not true.
Don't tell my boss.
But Frank, I do want to tell you that
Yes.
a lot of people don't know that there's a women veteran program.
Yes, right. That's why
at
you're
the
here.
VAs. Right.
We are creating
So-
awareness today. And so we're so happy and we're so honored for you to be here. So we're going to get into all things VA because that is very near and dear to both of our hearts here, your host and co-host. One being a veteran myself, I thank you for your service. And Frank, I mean, your father was in the service.
My father was, he is, and he will kill me if I didn't say it like this. He is 85-year-old, always Marine. He is not a retired Marine. I got smacked in the back of the head many times on it. Purple Heart Silver Star veteran.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, right. Real deal.
Very proud of my father. And
As he should.
yeah, I mean, I'm just a weak civilian. That's all I am.
Well, Frank, I have to say, and I'm like you, and I appreciate. I would love to have been a veteran.
Yeah.
Yes.
Missed that boat, but I am very proud of my father.
You're surrounded by veterans every day.
I am. I'm surrounded, and it's a great pleasure to serve them.
Yes.
And I am very proud of my stepfather and my father. My stepfather was 30 years in the Navy.
Wow.
And
in the Navy.
he is still alive, 97.
Oh my gosh.
And
That's
you
amazing.
know, sharp as a tack.
Now, hold on. I have to ask you. Did he serve? Did he do any combat or anything?
Served World War II,
That's exactly what I was going
Korean War,
for. Wow.
and Vietnam.
Oh my God.
And then my father was in Korea and also in the Vietnam War.
Hold on. There cannot be very many veterans alive today that did all three conflicts.
We had a
There are
client earlier. His father was at Iwo Jima and lived at 97 years old.
Oh my.
So something about serving your country and everything else, I mean,
Makes you
call
live
it
long.
good karma, America, right? I
Well,
mean, it
maybe
is.
the man's rewarding you.
You know what I'm saying? So this is awesome. This is amazing. So
Wow.
where should we start? Let's talk a little bit about the Women Veteran Program. You know, who you are, what you're about, what message, what awareness do you want to create here today? Let's just get right into it.
Well, first of all, we want to make sure everybody knows we're there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have been, the Women Veterans Program was established in Tampa in 1997.
Yes.
Very small, had a Women Veterans Program manager, and that's the role I'm in right now.
So originated right here in Tampa?
Ours.
Yours did, okay,
And we
yes.
were one of the first.
One of the first.
Now every VA has a Women Veterans Program. And that depends on the population and the needs, but as regarding their size. But yes, that is in place in every VA.
Awesome.
And then, of course, we have expanded greatly over the years. I started about 3 years ago, actually in March, 3 years ago, right before the pandemic. Such an exciting thing because I came into a new role and they're like, take all your things, go home and work.
Yeah.
I love it.
So Tammy and I both go home and work. And so we spent a lot of time building the program, and we've now got 9 employees, or I have 9 people. Under me.
And I'm so sorry.
No, go, please.
What I was going to say is that was 26 years ago that we had our first women veteran program manager, and that person didn't get that was the whole program. So now the program has 8 or 9 staff members.
You're talking there's one person?
There was one person to work with women veterans and the issues that women veterans were facing at James A. Haley.
Yeah.
Got it.
And so that has shifted now. Congress realizes that there's so many women veterans that they've allowed the women veteran program manager to expand her staff.
Yeah, for sure. It makes sense. You've got to keep up. So, hey, Tammy, let's give us a little backstory, your service. I don't think we talked about that just yet. So why don't we talk about your time in the service, what you did, and where you spent it?
Oh, I'm so proud to do that. I spent 28 years in the Air Force as a nurse, and then they sent me to graduate school, and I became a nurse practitioner.
28 years. Amazing.
All right.
Yes.
So Tammy, that is amazing. And I want to expand on that when we get back from the break. We have to take a quick break here on the Business Happy Hour. They love commercials over here, but don't worry.
Pay the bills.
We're going to be right back here on the Business Happy Hour with Jason J. McIntosh and Frank the Bank Cotto with Robin Norris and Tammy Tennis right here on the Business Happy Hour. We'll be back in just a minute. Hey, Tampa Bay, welcome back to the Business Happy Hour, your number one show for all things business and entrepreneurial. And today, Jason and I are taking a totally different turn because we would like to step away from business for a minute, and we want to educate Tampa Bay and actually a lot bigger surrounding area because we are on the biggest AM channel in the entire state of Florida. You might be down in Sarasota listening to us. You might be like me driving to Tallahassee listening to us, a good old capital of the state of Florida. But Jason and I met these wonderful ladies here from the VA Women's Veteran Program a few weeks ago, and we were so excited of having you on that interview. We wanted to bring you in the studio.
Yeah, they were Ashley was there at the Strawberry Festival in Plant City. We got some good footage. That's how all this thing kicked off. And you guys were there creating awareness there locally in Plant City, which was amazing.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. So Tammy, before the break, Tammy Tennis, we were asking you about your history because you are actually a woman veteran yourself. And, you know, I don't know, a lot of people think that's rare, but there are so many women who have served this country. I am so happy and proud to hear that the VA is recognizing the women and giving you kind of your own establishment, your own programs. But tell us a little bit more about your service, and let's break into how you got into working for the VA.
Well, I spent 28 years in the Air Force, as I mentioned earlier, but I really joined for 3 years. I was a nurse, and I wanted to become a midwife, I thought. And so I joined the military because I was so in debt. And a lot of women or people join the military for educational benefits. Yep. So that's pretty common. And they did send me to graduate school. Yep. Exactly, through the through AFIT while you're active duty.
Right.
And you're right, and I have the GI Bill. But I thought I was only going to be there for 3 years, but I just had never met such an amazing group of people that were willing to serve their country and die for their country and take care of people that were serving.
Yeah, and that's amazing to hear that you went in just for 3 years thinking temporarily, and it finished out another 25. That's awesome.
Right.
What did you end up doing in the end?
I was shocked too.
Where did you, like towards the end, what were you doing? What did you retire doing?
I was in charge of a flight, and so I was in charge of the surgeons at MacDill Air Force Base.
Wow.
So that was a really interesting time. But when I retired, I looked at the job at the VA. They were opening up a maternity care coordinator position, and that position was the first time it was going to be offered at the VA here in Tampa. And I was hired, thank goodness. But I thought, I'm not going to work there if I don't like how the VA works.
Right.
That's right.
So many people have a lot of negative impressions of the VA, and I didn't have any. I just didn't know.
Right.
And so I cannot tell you how dedicated the staff is at James A. Haley Veterans Hospital. Amazing.
Just had an anniversary there, or is it coming up?
It's coming up. Well, this is the 100th year for women veterans to be recognized in the VA. Wow. And September will be the anniversary.
Yes, and that is the big, is it 50? Did I remember that right?
So James A. Haley is celebrating their 50th.
James A. Haley itself is the 50th, if I remember right. Yep.
But the women veterans being recognized by the government and to receive VA services is 100 years.
So I want to pick on something you said real quick, Tammy. You said that is it true that the VA actually provides maternity care for women veterans, or is that kind of...
No, we don't provide maternity care within the VA. However, we do something like we consult out. We have agreements with maternity care providers. Whether it be midwifery, nurse midwives, or OBGYNs.
Midwifery, is that a name? Is that something? I laugh at it because my wife had both of our children using a midwife outside of a hospital. So I've never heard midwifery.
I just learned a word today, midwifery.
We do certified nurse midwives. Right. But we consult out to them, and then the maternity care coordinator, which Tammy was in the past, they're responsible for being that link between the VA and making sure they can stay in the loop for their VA care, helping them transition and get their care in the community.
So they still get the benefits?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's the thing. The key
is... The VA pays for them to go outside and get care.
Oh, my gosh, that's awesome.
And the baby is covered for the first 6 days. And then after that, of course, it would go in. They would fall under the parents' insurance
Personal
or
insurance.
however they choose. We also recently, I should say prior to February, we were following those women veterans postpartum. For 6 weeks. But the government recognized, that unfortunately, the United States has a very high morbidity and mortality rate for our postpartum women. In the first year, that means that they have complications or even die. And so really wanting to focus on closing those gaps in care to ensure those women are staying in the loop. And so they were now following them out for a year. So we will continue to coordinate their care for a year.
I love this.
Well, this is why it's important to create awareness, because many women veterans may not know even what's available to them and what. So having just like an outreach, just a place to go, a one-stop shop for, hey, I just need help. Point me in the right direction. So I see Tammy getting excited over there because like this is what this is about, because there are probably many women veterans that aren't aware, or maybe they just think, oh, well, I have had such bad experiences prior here and there. And, yes, there are more male veterans than there are women's veterans. So there was a need created, obviously, an awareness that, hey, there's more women veterans, and that number probably keeps growing. And I'm sure in our next segment, you're going to talk about how the numbers have grown, and I imagine they continue to grow.
Yeah, and I'd also like to know when we come back after the break, if you could tell me some of these other services that the VA, the women's side of the VA provides. It blows my mind that we just now got this here, but I'm so happy to hear that we have it. So this is amazing. If you are a woman veteran, you don't have to go stand in line with all those stinky men veterans.
We're giving back to the ladies today. Yes, I love it.
We are
doing our part.
For sure. So if you guys have not checked out our podcast, don't forget you have the Real Mac Moves podcast on all podcast platforms, and you have the Positive Patriots. Yeah, that's the one that I do right here on the Business Happy Hour. Don't forget to check us out. We're also a podcast right on iHeartRadio. We'll be back in just a minute with a VA Women's Veteran Program.
Yeah.
Hey, Tampa Bay, thanks for listening to the Business Happy Hour, your number one show for all things business and entrepreneurial. And Jason, J-Mac McIntosh, and myself, Frank the Bank Cotto, are having a great time. Frank the Tank Cotto. Having a great time here with Robin Norris and Tammy Tennis from the VA Women's Veterans Program right here at the beautiful James A. Haley Vet Hospital. We love it. You've heard bad stuff, you've heard rough stuff, but I'm here to tell you that is not true. All right, Haley is amazing. And now they have this beautiful facility and program for women specifically. So, Jason, I know we've got some questions for these ladies. Stay tuned for this great information.
We're setting the record straight today. So before the break, we discussed there's a need, obviously, because as I imagine the women's joining the service and serving their country, it's growing. That number is increasing. So do you have any stats? Maybe you can kind of educate us on that, like what the difference is over the years or even currently. Let's talk about that for a minute.
All right. So appreciate you asking.
Yes.
And yes, the population is growing. The women veterans population is actually growing at a faster rate than the male.
Wow.
We've increased.
Good stat.
We are expected to reach by 2025, 2026, about 20% of the veteran population will be female.
Wow, 20%.
Yes.
And just to let you know that it was 2.3% back in 1945.
Oh my
wow,
God.
so from 2 to 20.
100%.
Yeah, out of every 10 soldiers, that's
1,000.
2 are female. Yes, I love it.
Wow.
And that population also is getting younger.
Yeah,
so
makes sense.
Our female population, the majority, I shouldn't say the majority, but in large part is 35 to 65. Again, going back to the maternity care that we were talking about, that's the age at which women will be accessing the maternity care. And also then moving into the fun menopause years. Yay!
Yes.
But we're here to support you.
So what about what kind of services does the Women's Veterans Program provide that might be, I don't know, maybe the same or even different than what you would have if you're a male veteran?
So the goal for women veterans healthcare at Tampa VA and all the VAs are to get our women, when they're coming in, assigned to a dedicated women's health provider. That is a provider who has received extra training in meeting the needs of our women veterans. That's those routines.
Because they have different needs.
Yeah,
Yes,
of course.
they do.
Right, yes.
Well, we all react differently to things. Our bodies are different. You know, I mean,
definitely different. We learned that in grade school. Yes.
Well, those are those little extra screening exams that the women are needing that are recommended, pap smears.
Breast
exams,
mammograms.
Well, I would say from a comfort zone, too. I mean, all of this is very important, too.
And they need to be, our goal is to have a one-stop shopping experience so that a lot of them are working.
Right.
So they can go in, access their care, see the provider about maybe that knee pain that they have, but also get their pap smears on a yearly basis without having to make a whole separate appointment with another provider.
Right.
Wow.
And so then also there are some unique needs for those veterans as far as providing mental health, access to mental health services. And Tammy's going to talk a little bit more about additional services.
All right. Yeah. Tammy, hit it. What are the additional services we can get over there? Or
wait,
you can.
there's more.
I can't get in.
There's more.
Well, for women who've been out for a while, the VA is different. When it comes to women's services.
That's a good point.
For us, we have
It's evolved. It
has evolved. You're right.
Yes.
And in a good way and in a beneficial way to women. So women who may have thought that they didn't want to use the VA in the past, thinking that it's only men there and they're not going to be heard.
Right.
That's not the case anymore.
It probably was the case in the past, though. I'd assume.
Absolutely was. You know, we have a video that we made, and one of the women said that back in the 80s and 90s, if she needed a screening exam, a women's screening exam, she had to wait like a year to get it because it had to go through all of these different widgets. So
she had to get approved for her woman screening.
Exactly. Yes. And then she'd be sent out in the community. Well, now we do it in-house. And so a lot has changed with the Women Veteran Program. And at James A. Haley, we have a separate clinic for women. It has a separate entrance. We have dietitians there, mental health there. We have a woman dedicated pharmacist.
Yeah.
And so just in the Women's Center alone, that's what we have. So if a woman comes in for her exam, she will get asked if she wants to see any of those other services.
So does the woman veteran, do they still go to James A. Haley, but they're going to a different entrance? Like what if it's their first time?
They have their own.
So it's connected to the primary care annex, and that's located at Fletcher and 75. Okay. But it is kind of it's connected, but right off to the side. They have a separate entrance, so they never have to go into the main facility. And that is one of those unique things that we have here in Tampa that very few other VAs have. In place. That's phenomenal. Also have dedicated women's health providers at all of our CBOCs. Those are community-based outpatient clinics, and that's for all those veterans. We cover Riverview, Lakeland, Zephyr Hills, Brooksville, Lecanto. That's how far up we go.
Got some Pinellas too, right?
No, that's Citrus County.
Citrus County
too. Okay.
Into the veterans.
Yes. And then we also have Newport Richey, which is just
Pasco County. A
beautiful, huge outpatient clinic. They tripled in size from their previous clinic and will have so many services. We're opening a new clinic that has tripled in size in Zephyr Hills,
right?
To expand because that population is really expanding. And then Lakeland, we have a new clinic under construction. And so one of our things that we do within the Women Veterans Program, we ensure that the standards of privacy and dignity are observed for all of our veterans. Right. Started out as female focused, but I think our philosophy has changed that all veterans deserve that privacy and dignity. That's, making sure, first of all, we have lactation spaces for our female veterans if they're nursing and our female employees, because if we have a lot of veterans who are employees, but we also have a large number of young female employees.
Yeah.
And so that's been something that they've struggled with, is finding appropriate places. So supporting both the veterans and our employees in that regard. The other thing we have that we pay attention to is changing tables.
Yeah.
Changing
in
tables,
all these spaces, so that if you need to change that baby's diaper, you're bringing them in with you. One of the newer things that are coming down the pike that is still in its infancy, but it will be childcare. Offering some form of childcare for both male and female veterans. So if they need to bring their younger children in, again, in its infancy, but it has been mandated by Washington that be in place sometime in the next 2 to 3 years.
So that's the first I've heard of that, but I also know from I have a couple of young kids. That is one of the most expensive things for young families. I mean, I know a lot of young families that the wife was working and she quit her job because the differential between the child care and her job.
They're making as much as it costs.
Yeah, it was like within pennies of what it costs. So this is phenomenal, child care. So the feds mandated that.
Yes. That has been mandated.
Isn't that amazing?
I am blown away by that.
I'm just going to state the obvious here.
Yeah.
I think that so many changes have happened and are happening because of the need. That is probably one of the contributing factors from going from 2 to 20%.
It really is.
If you really stop and think about it, all of these things and all these avenues that weren't there before, it was created out of a need, but now it's paying off. It's working. So more and more women, because of their experience in the service and stories, and like today, these are more just creating that awareness and understanding. Hey, you can be a veteran, and there are programs for you specifically as a female woman veteran.
So let me ask you a question, and either one of you can answer. How can I support this? What can I do? Like if I'm listening to the radio right now,
we want to show support. If you are a veteran organization, if you're a soldier, not a soldier, or just someone that wants to help out, show some love, show some support. Maybe they can send a contribution to some of these programs and fund some of these things.
What do we do?
How do we do that?
So we access the voluntary services. So you would reach out to James A. Haley, the main number.
Okay.
And,
what's that number?
813-978-2000. 2000, yes.
There you go.
And so you would ask for voluntary services, or you can write, and then they can tell you the best way to contribute, or also accept donations. We get material donations. We have a lot of wonderful individuals out there.
So you can donate in a variety of ways, not just financially, maybe a volunteer basis, or maybe supplies. There's all kinds of ways that you can volunteer, you can contribute. It doesn't have to be financial. There's many ways to do it.
Yes, we've had baby shower. We have a baby shower every quarter to support our female veterans.
Love it.
That's awesome.
Exciting time. And we supply them with strollers through donated funds. Everything we supply through the baby showers are through donated funds. And that includes diapers, Lots of diapers.
The most important one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Strollers, clothing.
Call voluntary services. Yes. Is that right? 813-972-2000.
Yeah.
813-972-2000, guys. And by the way, everything we're talking about, if you forget any of this or you don't remember the number, but you want to help, you can reach out to Jason at his number 727-900-JMAC.
That's it.
Or you can reach out to 813-MORTGAGE. Anytime you drop the E, we'll drop the fee.
But Frank, today, right now, we're going to announce the new number.
What is the new number?
813-566-REAL. Keeping it real. REAL, like real estate, real Mac moves, or real business happy hour.
566-REAL.
Yes, that's it. That easy.
566-REAL. So you know what? Forget everything else we just said. It's 566-REAL. If you want to donate some real money, if you want to really help the Women's Veterans Program at James A. Haley, 813-566-REAL. We are going to take a real break here.
Pay some real bills.
And pay some real bills in a real 8 seconds here.
And we really will be back.
We will be back in our last segment, and we are going to learn a little bit more about what the Women's Veterans Program can do for you, and we'll remind you how to help the program, whether you're a women's veteran or a women veteran or not, here on the Business Happy Hour with Jason, J-Mac, Frank, and Frank the Bank.
Come on back.
Tampa Bay, this is the last segment of the Business Happy Hour with Jason J. McIntosh and your host, Frank the Bank Cotto from Lincoln Lending Group and 813mortgage.com, your no-fee mortgage leader. And by the way, if you like anything we're talking about, you don't have to worry about having 2 phone numbers anymore, because Jason and I just created the newest, best number in Tampa, covering both mortgage and real estate. Jason, what is our new number?
813-566-REAL. REAL.
That's right, because we are a real show here with real women's veterans.
Today is real VA, real women's VA today.
That is right.
All day.
So Robin Norris and Tammy Tennis.
Yes.
We have had so much fun on the show with you today, but this is not it. Listeners, you have to listen up, because the most important question is yet to come. We've heard about the Women's Veteran Program. We know you have your own facility. We know some of the medical stuff you do, but I'm curious. Let's say I'm an active duty woman in the military, or I'm a retired woman veteran. I'm just curious, how do I access all of this?
Where do we get the party started?
What do we do?
Where do we go? What do we do?
Well, there's a couple of ways to do this, depending on where you are in your career. So if you are active duty military, then for your transition assistance program, which is TAP, at your facility, you can ask them about the Women's Health Re-Engagement Training. Mm-hmm. And that is a program that is offered to all women veterans. It doesn't matter if you've been out 10 years or you're about to get out, but you can sign up for this program that tells you and explains to you all of the benefits that you have as a woman veteran. It will talk about the VA healthcare, and it will talk about other services as well.
Like what kind of other services?
Well, besides the health care that you get, we also hold lunch and learns at our VA. And so we have a variety of topics each month, and we have guest speakers that talk about women's health issues or veterans benefits.
Yes. We're going to get in on all that, aren't we, Frank?
We are. Oh, wait. Can I do a quiz question for you ladies real quick?
Let's do it.
Uh-oh.
Bring it on.
I'm putting you on the spot. I've got 2 quick VA loan quiz questions, okay? And I hope you get them wrong. The first question is, do you know what is the minimum credit score to get a VA loan?
There isn't one. I think I'm cheating.
You did cheat, but that's okay.
Somebody told me the answer.
That's okay.
But wait, not all banks were created equal.
That's right.
There are some overlays out there. Yeah. Some banks have a minimum credit score of 580, which is why you might think that.
Yes.
But there are banks without overlays. Frank the Bank Cotto, he knows a little something about that.
We do. You have to work with the right lender to follow. Many lenders could do this. They could all do this, but they put these overlays in place and they make the loan stricter for veterans. I hate that. So we follow the VA guideline 100%. No minimum credit score for veterans. The other trivia question will be real quick because I want to get into the services is, What about their debt ratio? Do you have any idea what's the maximum debt ratio a veteran can have? You know, a lot of banks say 50%, things like that.
I'm going to go with there isn't one.
Oh, you're good.
Ding, 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 ding.
And nobody told me that answer.
No, that was a great guess. Their answer is there is not one, which is why Jason and I push the VA loans and we push veterans, because it is truly the best loan product of any product.
Lowest default rate of any loan product.
Lowest interest rate, no PMI, no maximum debt ratio, which means you don't have to be limited necessarily by your income and all
of these things will be in the lunch and learn. Don't you worry. I see it get exciting over there.
No,
we're going to do a whole lunch and learn on this.
Women clapping that are listening to this,
Thank you.
are saying, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea."
There they are. I heard them.
Yeah. And it's so important that they learn and they get all this information. I think so many people don't.
So we are going to support this we're going to come to the lunch and learns, but I don't want to talk all about us. I want to talk about some of the other services besides the lunch and learns, but we will be there at your next lunch and learn.
In our last segment, what should the ladies know? Let's hand the baton over. Tell us what we need to know. Where do we start?
Well, I'm going to give you an email that
please do.
Or a website, that women can use to sign up for this class, so that as they're separating from the military, or if they're out of the military, they can access and see all of the training dates. A lot of them are virtual and some of them are in person, and they can choose to learn about what the VA offers. And again, for those who have been out for a while, it's not the same VA as it used to be. There are so many services for women.
New and improved.
We like to say it's not your father's VA.
There you go. It's VA 2.0.
No, it's definitely not my father's VA.
Right, that's true.
The grab gray walls, and that lovely green.
And
all
as
the stinky
we
veterans.
Upgrade everything, because a lot of people will look at the VA and say, "Oh gosh, that looks awful.
Yeah,
it's not kept up." Well, we have kept up, and we have a great communication all within the VA, and so the health care that you get is second to none.
Something just tells me the women's annex looks better than the guys.
Well, I think they're
probably the restrooms too.
Definitely the restrooms.
And we are affiliated with USF, so a lot of great talent out of USF.
Wow.
Our primary care providers, dedicated women's providers, all our providers are just phenomenal. So
anyone who's a woman, veteran or active, what is that first step? Who do they call? What do they do? What's that website again?
So I didn't say the website because it's kind of long.
Oh, okay. Well, what's the easiest thing?
The best thing to do is to call enrollment and eligibility at our Tampa VA, and that number is 813-972-2000.
2000, yes.
That same number.
Yes, same number.
Extension 1710.
1710
is the extension when you call the James A. Haley VA.
So we're in our last minute. Tammy, is there anything that we have left off? Anything that we need to do? Tammy or Robin, tell us.
I just want to say thank you for all our veterans, women and men, for your service. It's just our way of giving back to you for everything you've done. And we would love to have you join us for your health care if you're not already there at the VA.
I tell you what, I can feel the love in the room. I know
this has been amazing.
It has been.
Quick and fast, right? This is awesome.
Yeah, you love what you do. I can tell you both care about the veterans, and obviously Tammy being a veteran yourself, thank you so much for your service. And we appreciate both of you coming on today. It's been a great show.
Thank you for having us.
No problem. And with that said, we're going to announce on the next Business Happy Hour when the Lunch and Learn is going to be the Women's VA, and we'll make sure we invite all of you. Have a great week, Jay.
Thanks, ladies, for coming.
Thank you so much.
Red, wine, blue
Have a great
explosion.
day.
Goodbye.
See you.